This next one's a little nicer because we can use our first quadrant and reflect in order to find the tan ratio and to find theta. So again, we plot our value. We went to the left 2 and down to root 3. Notice I wrote them as positive just because I'm looking at a triangle, and so I know the sides of a triangle are positive, and I need to find the hypotenuse. So it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. If you forget how to multiply 2 root 3 times 2 root 3, remember numbers in front of radicals stay in front. Since it's the product, underneath the radical we have 2 3's. For square root, as long as we have 2 of a kind, out comes 1 of that kind. So we have 2 times 2 times 3, which is 4 times 3, which gets us 12. So that's our R value. Now we need to find theta. Again, for theta, we're going to use tan. So we're going to put this dot in quadrant 3, because negative 2 is to the left, and negative 2 root 3 is then down that many units. Left is x, right is y, left is c for cos, right is sine. If tangent is sine over cos, we put those values over here. We can cross out the negative 2 because it's in front of the radical. There's no plus or minuses. We can divide negative 2 top and bottom. And then we have root 3. Okay, now remember, before I talked about using quadrant 1 to help you, and then use your reflection. So we know at 60 degrees in quadrant 1, tangent is square root of 3. So now I'm going to use that and think about reflecting it into quadrant 3. So when I first reflect it, we know that if I'm at 60 degrees and I swing up to 90, that's 30 degrees. Then if I'm at 90 and I swing down 30 degrees, I know that I'm at 90 plus 30, I know that I'm at 120. Now we need to end up in quadrant 3. So if I take this dot in quadrant 2 and I flip it across down to quadrant 3, we know that if this guy is 30, then the difference for that 90 degree section would be 60. So then we know this section would be 60. Therefore, if this spot is 180, we can do 180 plus 60 would get us to 240 degrees. This makes sense because in quadrant 3, our values need to be between 180 degrees and 270 degrees. Make sure it makes sense. So now that we have R is 4, and we know theta is 240, we plug in, and we are in trig form. In trig form, remember, you want to see cos and sine.